Hello all to another Wolfpack Wargaming battle report. Today we're going to be pitting some orcs up against our Necrons. We got a 2,000 point game. We're going to be using ITC Mission 2, which is going to be the Relic. So let's check out the rules for the game. So Relic is a mission from the main rulebook, and essentially we're going to have a token in the middle of the table, and if any model interacts with it or becomes in contact with it, they can seize the relic, and if you have the relic at the end of the game, you'll win 8 points. We're also going to have a couple Maelstrom objectives, which will be progressive objectives throughout the game. We'll have one objective in each of our deployment zones, and these will work for progressive objectives. And then of course we'll have those tertiary objectives that are worth 1 point at the end of the game. One will be first strike, which is getting a kill in the first turn, as well as table quarters and slay the warlord. So let's take a look at the armies. So here is our 2,000 point Necron army. We just featured this one in a Space Marine battle report, and we're going to be running this one again. Again, it's 4 units of troops. We'll probably have a couple units of those in the monolith there to spit them out at a later time. We also have our HQs, which are going to be a Cryptarch and a Necron Overlord, as well as 2 units of Immortals with the Gauss cannons there, and then 2 Doom Size, and of course then our monolith there, and that rounds out to close to about 2,000 points of Necrons. And now for one of the armies that have most anticipated 8th edition to come around, our Orks. Of course, they're still waiting for their codex, but anyways, this is about 2,000 points of Orks. We've got a unit of 5 Mega Knobs. They're going to be riding in a truck. We've also got our HQs, which is going to be a Mega Knob in power armor with the force field generator, as well as Got Skull there. We've got 2 units of 3 Killicans, Death Dread, and then we have our troops. We're going to have 4 units of 10 Orc Boys riding in trucks, and then 2 Daka Jets. So there we have it, about 2,000 points of Orcs. Alright, so here is our battlefield. So here we have the Relic in the middle. Then we have our Maelstroms. Now Necrons, they are going to be deploying on this side. Of course it's Hamel and Anvil deployment, which means we're going to use the long ends here. They have their Maelstrom hiding behind that building. And then we have our Orcs. They are hiding their Maelstrom back here, their Maelstrom 1. So here again is the table, and we're going to go ahead and roll to see who deploys first. Okay, so we've got Necrons with the dark dice and Orcs with the green ones here. Let's see who deploys first. Okay, looks like Orcs are going to deploy first. Alright, so we've got our deployment set up. Orcs are over here on this side. And as we can see here, we've got just about everything out on the table. Of course, the Mega Knobs are in this truck back here. And then Necrons, likewise, are pretty much lined up on the front line, ready to jump out, try to grab that relic right there. The Necrons do have their monolith off the table with 2 units of warriors that are going to be popping out when that thing drops down. It has essentially a deep strike, so it can pop anywhere on the back of the table and let out some Necron warriors. We got trucks over here with 10 boys strong in each of those, and then 1 truck back there which is plopped down on Maelstrom Objective 1. So the Necrons finished deployment first, so they are going to get a little bonus to their roll. They get a +1 to see who goes first. Alright, who gets first turn? So looks like Necrons are going to get to go first. So Orcs roll to seize the initiative. And they got a 6. They actually do seize. Oh, lucky dogs. Alright, we're at the end of Orcs turn 1 here, and as you can see, just about everything else moved up. The Maelstroms that the Orcs need to accomplish was to destroy an enemy unit, and then also have 3 of their units in their backfield and none of the enemy units in their backfield. They were not able to destroy a unit. In fact, they pretty much just moved up as quick as they could. The trucks, they advanced, they tried to get on the relic there, trying to be in a good position for next turn to potentially grab it, unless the Necrons are able to grab it this turn. The Daka Jets flew up. They put some shots into the Necron warriors over here. They were able to kill 2 of the warriors, and then this Daka Jet shot into the Immortals. Nothing happened though. They were able to save all the shots. The Killicans over here put some shots into this Doom Scythe over here, and nothing went through, no wounds on the Doom Scythe. So not too much for the Orcs, but a bunch of movement. They're already up the board quite a bit. But now we move to Necrons turn 1. Alright, so we're at the end of Necron's turn 1, and they rolled for their Maelstrom and needed, they had 5 and 6, which is to kill an enemy unit, and they also needed to have 3 of their units in their deployment zone and none of their enemies. And Necrons pretty much forego on 6 to be in their deployment zone just because the Orks have their Daka jets. The Necrons were able to kill several units. In fact, they were able to kill the Ork truck that was sitting right there. One unit of warriors kind of melted a truck, and then the other unit of warriors took out the 10 boys that were in the truck. Both these Doomsides were able to shoot in the truck that was right here, and were able to whittle the wounds down and get that destroyed. And then the 10 boys that were inside jumped out, and they're in prime position to try to grab that relic, but I'm thinking these warriors are probably going to melt them in their attempt to do so. Everything else just kind of moved up. These immortals moved up to the building, they advanced up there. And that's pretty much for the Necrons turn 1. It was pretty good. They're going to get their first Maelstrom objective for killing some units. But let's move to turn 2 for the Orks, see if they can come back. Alright, so we're at the end of turn 2 for the Orks, and it was a pretty successful turn for them. They needed to kill an enemy unit and hold down objective 1, which they are currently doing right there. A lot of shooting and assaulting happened here. So these Killicans and the Death Dread, they fired into the Doomsite. They actually just put a couple of wounds on him, nothing too major. And the big action over here was this truck dropped off all these boys. The boys shot into this unit of warriors, killed a few, and then they ended up assaulting them, as you can see, and were able to kill a few more. Ended up killing about 8 Necron warriors in total of that unit. They did try to wrap around to get that unit as well because they wanted to block them off from being able to charge in and take out those boys on their turn. This truck actually tried to charge as well, but failed to charge. The overwatch from the Necron warriors did take out a few of these Ork boys as well. At the end of the turn, both the Orks and the Necron warriors actually made their morale save, so nothing devastating happened there. The Daka jets moved back actually and tried to take out this unit of immortals, and they just nearly did. They killed 4 of the 5. That would have been the unit they needed to kill. So as of right now, the Orks are holding down objective 1 for their Maelstrom, and they do have the Relic currently, but we'll see if they're able to maintain that. We're going to move to Necron's turn 2. Alright, so we're wrapping up Necron's turn 2 here, and their Maelstroms for this turn were to hold down objective 1, as well as have a unit in the enemy's deployment zone. As you can see, we have quite a few over here. So a lot happened this turn. First off, of note, these Necron warriors moved up here and shot into those Ork boys that were holding the Relic and wiped them out, letting the Relic drop so the Necrons would be able to pick it up next turn. We had ongoing assault here with these boys, and you can see they took out a few warriors, but the Necron warriors also took out quite a few of the boys, and in fact morale got the boys a bit as well. They lost, I think, 1 or 2 more models just for failing their morale check. Over here we had quite a few of the Immortals jump back on for their will be back rolls, and they were able to fire into the Daka jet, putting a couple wounds on him. Over here, the Night Size, they took out that truck that was full of boys there, and the Monolith assisted with wiping out the boys that were there. The Necron warriors that came out of that Monolith ran up here to try to hold down that objective, which they're currently doing right now. So the Orks on their turn 3, they will fail holding down objective 1, but we'll see if the Necron warriors are able to hold on to that for the next turn. We do have a bunch of Mega Knobs in there, so they might tear those guys up pretty good. Alright, so currently Necron warriors, looks like they might get a couple Maelstroms here and also pick up the Relic next turn, but we do have a big old mob of Killicans and a Death Dread that are headed that way, so let's see what happens. Orks turn 3. Alright, so we're wrapping up Orks turn 3 here, and I gotta say, I was thinking that the Necrons had this thing pretty much wrapped up, but quick change of events here for the Ork, really good turn for them. They needed to kill a unit, as well as have a model in the enemy deployment zone, or the Necron's deployment zone, which you can see back here they've got 2. They were able to wipe out a couple units, so the Daka jets flew over, and this truck moved back, wiped out this remaining unit of Immortals. There was about 3 left there, so those units were able to take them out. You can see here that the assault has concluded, and those remaining Orks went down eventually, but took out a couple Necron warriors as well. We had one of the Doka Jets fire into this immortal unit, took out a couple immortals there, but the warriors are still in good position to pick up that relic. These Killicans and Death Dread haven't been doing too much, just kind of moving up here, trying to move towards that relic, get there as quick as they can, so they advanced up. The big fight over here though, these Mega Knobs, they did drop out of that truck with Godskull there, and they just wiped out that Necron warrior unit there. They pretty much weren't phased by the Overwatch, and they just stormed in and cleaned up those warriors before they could even swing. So they are going to deny holding objective 1 for the Necron warriors, reducing their Maelstrom points. So now it's going to be a fight for the relic. We'll see who gets it as we move on to Necron's turn 3. Alright, so we're at the end of Necron's turn 3, and wasn't the most successful turn for them. They needed to kill an enemy unit as well as have 3 of their units in their deployment zone and none of their enemies. As you can see, they're not even going for it at this point in time. They did kind of go all out to try to kill this truck over here. You can see they put 6 wounds on it. They were just shy by 4. Those warriors there, they shot into it, they charged it, and these immortals over here actually put some wounds on it as well. The Necron warriors were able to pick this relic up, and they put some shots onto the Killicans over here. They were only able to kill 1 though. And then over here we had our other unit of Necron warriors jump out of the monolith and dump as many shots as they could into those Mega Knobs over there. And those Mega Knobs are really tough. Knobs are definitely, it seemed a lot tougher than they used to be. They have more wounds, and just with their saves and stuff, they're pretty tough to kill. With all the shooting of those warriors, the monolith, and this Doom Scythe down into those Mega Knobs over there, we were able to kill 2, just 2 of them. So that was it, not the best. And then everybody passed their morale checks, and no one else died. So we're gonna move on to Orks 4, turn 4. Right now it looks like Necrons still, I think, just have the lead of Maelstrom, but the Orks might take it from them. Necrons do have the Relic, and I think they do have a couple of the tertiaries, but we'll keep moving and see if things change up. Alright, we have another successful turn for Orks. So they needed to kill a unit and hold objective 1, which they're doing over there. And this was a really good turn to sort of exemplify the Orks' might when it comes to charging in. And the Necrons, yet again, kind of taking a downward turn here. Now, they did get a little bit of a perk because the truck here was stuck in assault, and so those warriors were able to kill it off, which means they will get 1 of their Maelstroms from the last turn. But you can see over here that warrior unit that was there, the Doka Jet and those Mega Knobs there, as well as Godskull, shot into them, assaulted them, wiped out that whole unit of Necron warriors there. They are holding objective 1 right now, so they might get that Maelstrom if they can keep it for a turn. Over here, those Killicans finally making their way over, were able to run up there, shoot into those warriors, as well as the Doka Jet there. Took out a few, and then in the charge they were able to kill off a ton of them, and then they actually did a horrible morale save and lost quite a few more warriors. So you have the 2 HQs that are still just kind of hanging out there, and we'll see what happens because the Relic has been dropped. So it's becoming a pretty close game, and the Orks are definitely doing a lot of damage now, as they weren't in the first couple turns. But here we go, we're going to move on to Necron's turn 4 and see if they can recover. Alright, so we're at the end of turn 4 for the Necrons, and they are holding on. So we had the Overlord there go ahead and step on the Relic to attain it. He's infantry, so those Killicans aren't, so they actually can't grab it. And we have the Cryptarch back there, as well as some Immortals to potentially, again, go and steal the Relic. They needed to have 3 of their units in their backfield, none of the enemies, which they currently do. And they also needed to kill an enemy unit, and they did kill that Doka Jet there. So the Necrons, the warriors over here, both of these Doom Scythes, and then essentially everyone just shot into that Doka Jet that had a couple wounds on it already and was able to take it down. And you notice the Doom Scythes are back at the end of the table here. They jumped across the board to put a few units in the backfield so they would score that Maelstrom. The monolith here moved up. It does have the fly keyword, so it was able to move past those mega knobs out of close combat. Shot at the truck there, was able to put 5 wounds on it, and is contesting that objective there, so might be able to prevent the orcs from getting that maelstrom. And that's about it. So not much for the Necrons to do here. We do have table quarters at the end of the game too, so they do need to kind of space out to be in contention for that. So we're gonna move to turn 5 orcs. We'll see if it keeps going. Okay, so we had a pretty quick turn 5 here for the orcs. They needed to kill an enemy unit as well as have 3 of their units in their backfield and none of the opponents. They do currently have that with the Mega Knobs, Godskull, and the Orc truck there. You'll notice the monolith is gone, and those Mega Knobs as well as Godskull made short work of that with a charge into it. Over here had these Killicans take out the Necron Warlord by shooting into him and charging him, and that was essentially the end of him. And they're doing something kind of interesting here, which is they are essentially blocking the Relic from any of the infantry getting in there. So it's not looking good for those immortals. They'll have to, unless this goes to turn 6, there's nothing they really can do to even get them off that Relic, I guess, unless they charge them, kill them, and then make a push-in move onto the Relic. And then we had the Stockajet fly all the way into the table, which he is now denying the Necrons needing 3 units and none of the enemy units in the deployment zone, and he shot at that Doom Scythe, but nothing went through. So anyways, Orcs making a good effort here at the end of the game. We'll go to Necrons turn 5, and then we'll see if it continues on. Alright, so we're at the end of turn 5 for the Necrons, and it's been pretty close for this game here. So the Maelstroms don't really matter at this point. I think the Necrons are going to take it. Actually, it is probably pretty close. I should say that the Necrons needed to kill a unit, and they also needed to have 3 of their units in the backfield and none of the enemy units. Either way, they're probably not going to get either of those. Weren't able to kill a unit, and the Orc Jet is still back there. This Doom Scythe tried to put a few wounds on him, and I think put like 1 or 2, and that was it. The big thing that happened here was that this Stockajet was able to kill off one of the Killicans, kind of creating a gap so that those immortals, they shot into those Killicans, did nothing, but were able to charge in, and a couple of them died, but the ones you see there did survive. They are on top of the Relic, so I would argue they are in possession of it now. I'm not sure if there's an FAQ about that, but anyways, the Killicans are not infantry, so they can't pick the Relic up, whereas the Immortals are. So anyways, I'm gonna say the Necrons have possession of the Relic at this point in time, but really it's gonna matter if the game goes on, because there's no way those Immortals are gonna survive another round of assault against those Killicans. So we're gonna roll off right now and see if the game goes on, and if not, we're gonna break down the game and see who won. Okay, on a 3+, the game goes on. All right, looks like it's a wrap. All right, so looking at the final scoreboard here, it does look like the Necrons eked out a win. They won the Maelstrom outright, but it was much closer than I expected. The Necrons had 4 Maelstrom points to the Orcs 3 Maelstrom points, so it actually could have changed had the game continued to go on. The Necrons did end with the Relic, and yet again, had it gone another turn, they probably would have dropped that. If we look at the tertiary points, we see that the Orcs got Slay the Warlord, killing the Necrons Overlord. They also got Table Quarters. I believe that they're in 3 of the 4. Necrons solidly have this one, but that gives them 1 point. And then the Necrons got First Strike. So Necrons eked out a win this game, but the Orcs definitely hit hard, and had it gone to turn 6, I don't doubt that the Orcs would have been in a better position to potentially change the outcome of this game. So learning these new armies in 8th edition, Necrons are kind of interesting. There will be back rolls. I feel like it's really powerful, and yet they do tend to kind of melt like butter. I was really surprised how quick those large units were dismantled by the Orcs. The Orcs, however, seem to hit hard, and the Mega Knobs, I've always loved Mega Knobs, and they just seem so much better now that if they get doubled out by someone hitting them, they're just not instantly removed. So they're really hard to kill, and they hit like a brick. And so loving Mega Knobs, I think I'll have to make some armies with them here in the future.